another picture of basically things are slowly coming together. I had to figure out how to mount that sight glass, which I'll show in here later. I ended up having to buy a tubing bender, and you see that up there on top of the hot liquor tank. And that wasn't cheap. I got it. I think it was about $45. Um, Here's just another picture of the kegs, trying to figure out how to bend the pipe, like I said. Here is an example of the bracket that I built for the sight glass. As you can see, it's just got the diameter cut where you could stick that sight glass in there, and the reducer goes through there. And then I took some rubber and I cut basically a rubber circle, and I basically cushioned the two faces so they wouldn't rub each other. And then I drilled into the frame and welded two bolts coming down and drilled through the top of this where my pinky is. So then all I had to do is put it over those bolts and put a nut on, and it would hold up there. And you can see I have a gusset where my pinky is. I've got my finger in that corner. And underneath this thing, you see where the shadow is with the hole. If you'll go back, you'll notice I put another gusset there for support. And about this time, I got tired of that big 26 torch. So I got I think it's a 17 with a see-through gas lens. Makes a world of difference. And with that, I was able to start doing stuff like this. And that's me just gluing on a half-inch tri-clamp fitting. So with that, I was able to produce things like this with that tube bender. So now I don't even, those fittings from Brewer hardware are expensive. You figure you've got to buy a compression fitting for $15, say, and then the other side of the compression fitting, is going to be another $15 to $17 on top of it. So with this, those little parts are $5, and if you can spend the time to figure out how to weld them on, it saves a lot of money. The next, I had to figure out how to mount these three-way ball valves. If you'll notice down there, I've got a sketch on some metal, and what I did was I basically ended up cutting that out and dividing it in half long ways. And so obviously you can see the circular part was cut away, and there was holes put on each corner, so it kind of it matches up to the face of this. I don't think I have a picture of the actual face. Let me go to the next slide. But I have a picture of kind of how it was mounted in there. This is probably a little confusing. But after it was mounted to that, I took and had some metal come down and sandwiched two plates with holes to the bracket that I made to go onto the bracket for the three-way valve. And here's kind of where I had it as far as I'm ready to give this thing a go. I didn't show it earlier, but here is the orange thing coming out of the top is that lock line that they use for I guess CNCs. They're something that they use to cool down. They've got all those jets. I can't remember the guy. I've seen it on two other guys' breweries, and I really liked it. It's in the mash. So, you'll notice also, I learned this was a no-no. was if you'll see the keg, the boil keg, that tubing runs under the frame and it just kind of parallels that channel, that square tubing, and then comes back out. That was not the thing to do because this thing gets pretty hot, and from the first time I used it, I could I'm guessing it boiled the water out and left a bunch of sugary residual stuff, and then it caused a blockage. So don't do that. Keep it away. So yeah, this looks like it's ready to go, and like I said, this is kind of where it was when I used it the first time. I haven't used it since, but the one thing I'm not showing you is I had yet to put the Herms coil in there, and the next picture, no, that's not a giant slinky. That's the stainless steel tubing that I started coiling, and I bought something from New York Brew Supply, and I thought it would be sufficient, and I didn't read enough before I bought it. I bought a 50-foot coil and a 25-foot coil, and I was going to use the 25-foot for all the piping and the 50 for the Herms. Well, the 25-foot went pretty quick after it kept kinking. The thickness was 0.2 or 0.02, I don't remember. You need 0.35 at a minimum, which you can get a stick of it at Granger for I think $17 for a, what is it, 6 or 8 foot stick? I think it's 6 foot. So that's kind of what I started going with. But this is the 0.2. It's the thin stuff from the New York Brewer or whatever. I don't remember what it is. So you're wondering, well, how did you start getting that cold if it didn't kink? And well, the next picture is what I had to build. I had to build a ring roller out of wood, and there it is. It's kind of crude. I didn't really build it exactly right, but I built it good enough to get the job done, which is kind of the point of it. It's kind of frustrating that you have to build something to build something, but yeah, I had to. So, you know, that coil of stainless, I think I spent $70 on, 75, and I think the little ring roller, I spent $20 for a router bit and maybe $7 or $8 for some bar stock that I needed. Everything else I kind of scrounged together. Here's an example of me finally getting it cooled down to where I'm like, all right, it's at a diameter where I can work with it, and then I squished it down and tried to figure out how to get it all assembled, and this is what I come up with. Like I said, you can't bend this stuff really at all. I mean, you can make long sweeping bends, but that's about it. Notice the dip tube down off in there. Here's just another large pile of shiny stainless. There's a lot of money on that table. A lot of money. And that's not even all of it. Here's a picture of the temperature probes I started building. Like I said, I've said that in another video. I bought I think it was a 6-foot stick of stainless, and it was enough to do, what is that? I think I was at 6 temperature probes. These are only 4 here, but yeah, I had enough for 6 temperature probes of various lengths, and then I built my 2, I guess, dip tubes for the pressure sensor tubes. So there was enough to get all that done out of one stick, but I mean, I didn't have much left. Here is all the one wire, going together. I don't have it on here, but I ended up having to build like little custom stick out brackets, so this wire wouldn't be sitting up there on top getting hot. I built it to where it would project a little, and hopefully the heat will dissipate away from it. That's kind of that right there. Here's kind of where I was, about a week ago. This is the brewery as it stands. One thing you might notice, you can't really see it that well in this picture, is I went back And the first time I'd used this brewery, I used it just once this January. It's now what's July. I used it in January, and I realized that I could not, the way I had it built previously, I could not sparge and draw liquid at the same time, which was kind of frustrating because it pretty much leaves you with only batch sparging. So I went back to the drawing board and tried to figure out what would be the best way to go about changing this and fixing this. And so I don't know if you can see it, but in the third keg, in the middle keg, I bought another three-way valve and a T, which allowed me to accomplish both feats. And I also moved. Um, I moved one of the lines from one pump to the other, which allowed me to accomplish that. I had both of them running through. I think I had both left ones running through the one on the left, and now I think just the pump on the left runs the hot liquor tank. I'd have to look at it better, but that's kind of where I've got it set. Um, Things I've got done further is I've managed to put in the swing arm for the brew troller, in the box and the whole 9 yards, and got the wires run. You don't really see it here, but I made a video of it's a short video of the control valve, um, and the high pressure safety switches. So that's to come later. Yeah, it's coming along. It's just slow and tedious. I started working on this about a year ago. So if you're looking at building one of these, that's expected to take you about a year unless you are smarter than me and just build a frame and don't bother with all the stainless line. You know, it would have been a lot easier. I don't know if it would be any better. I mean, it's probably no difference, but I'm like a raccoon. I love shiny stuff. And I love stainless. Uh, doesn't like my pocketbooks, I'll tell you that. Any questions, any comments, any things you feel like I missed out and you want me to go over on another video? I don't intend this to be like forever type thing. Gosh, I hope I'm done with this in the next month or two. But this is just kind of a summation of my work and what I went through and what I was thinking and kind of how I did it. I'm sure there's a lot of questions and I'm sure I still have some. But thanks.